The quiet morning. Elias Mercer woke up to a sound he didn't recognize. Silence. No machine humming. No kettle screaming. No clock demanding. Just breath. Slow. Uneven. Real. Light crept through a hospital window, pale and forgiving. The kind of light that didn't accuse. The kind that simply arrived. His chest hurt. Not sharply, not dangerously, but deeply, like something sore from surviving. A monitor beeped beside him. He turned his head and saw a nurse adjusting an IV. She noticed his eyes open and smiled, small and tired, like someone who had seen too many endings and learned to treasure beginnings. "You scared us," she said softly. Elias tried to speak. His throat cracked. "Am I alive?" she finished. She nodded. "Very much so." The second chance. The doctor was honest this time. No softened language. "You died for 38 seconds. The words landed like stones. Your heart stopped. We brought you back." Elias stared at his hands. They looked the same, still scarred from old burns, still stained faintly with coffee that never quite washed out, but they felt different, quieter. "You don't get many warnings after this," the doctor continued. "This is the last one." Elias nodded, not because he understood, but because something inside him had finally broken open. That night, alone in the hospital room, he cried. Not loud, not dramatically, just tears sliding sideways into the pillow. He whispered into the dark, not sure who he was talking to. "I don't know how to live without it." The room didn't answer, but for the first time in years, he stayed. Withdrawal recovery wasn't poetic. It was ugly. Headaches that split his skull. Hands shaking like leaves. Nightmares that replayed every cup, every choice, every moment he chose comfort over connection. There were moments he begged the nurse for coffee. Moments he hated himself for begging. Moments he thought dying would have been easier. But every morning the same nurse came in. Every morning she said the same thing. "You're still here." And slowly, that became enough. The room with folding chairs. The first meeting smelled like burnt coffee and cheap disinfectant. The irony almost made him leave. Folding chairs, a circle, a box of tissues that had seen war. A man spoke first, then a woman, then another man. Different substances, same ache. When it was Elias's turn, he stared at the floor. "My name is Elias," he said, "and I'm an addict." The word felt dangerous, sacred, true. "I didn't think it counted," he continued, "because it was coffee, because everyone laughed, because no one stopped me." His voice shook. "I used it so I wouldn't feel alone." No one laughed. A woman across the circle nodded, tears in her eyes. That was the first time in years Elias felt seen. Learning to sit with the quiet. The hardest part wasn't quitting coffee. It was learning how to sit still without it. Mornings were brutal. He woke up and waited for something to save him. Nothing did, so he learned to breathe, to pray, awkwardly at first, clumsily, like someone dialing a number they weren't sure still worked. "If you're there," he whispered one morning, hands shaking, "please stay." And something did. Not loud, not miraculous, just steady. The cup that changed everything. Months later, Elias sat in a small church basement after a meeting. Someone had set out drinks, water, tea, decaf coffee. He stared at the cup, then he pushed it away. Instead, he picked up the water. It tasted like nothing, and everything. He smiled, really smiled, for the first time in years. A different kind of morning. Elias still woke up early, but now he opened a window. Let the light in. Let the noise of the world remind him he belonged to it. He volunteered at the recovery center, helped newcomers sit through the shaking, told them the truth. That thing you love, he'd say gently. It won't love you back, but you're not broken. You're human. The ending, that isn't an ending. One morning, Elias wrote in his journal again, but this time the words were different, not desperate, not afraid. I am still here, and that is enough. He closed the notebook. Outside, the sun rose, slow, patient, holy, and for the first time in his life, Elias didn't need a cup to face the day. He already had something warmer, hope,